Sometimes watching movies isn't enough. As fans, we tend to analyze everything about the movies we watch and try to find anything we missed. Is there something bigger going on here? We ponder and think of theories because, well, it's fun. Check out this list of fan theories from Pixar movies we compiled for you. Before we get the show on the road, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You'll join the notification squad and be updated with our new content. Also, can you guess which film these emojis are hinting at? Stay tuned to the end of the video to find out. Now let's count them down.
Look at this stitching! Andy's gonna have a hard time ripping this. Hello? Hi! Hello?
Andy's mom is Jessie's original owner. This theory has become quite a popular one in the Pixar universe and one that could actually be true. We all know that Andy and Woody are inseparable, but did you ever notice that the hat that Andy wears doesn't resemble Woody's whatsoever? Were you ever curious why this was? We'll fill you in. When Jessie makes her appearance in Toy Story 2, we learn about her backstory and her owner, Emily. We even see a glimpse of Emily's past with a red hat that resembles Jessie's hat, as well as the one that Andy wears. The only difference in Andy's hat is that his is missing the white band, but we can see the mark on it where it once was. We're left to think that Andy's mom may actually be Emily. If this is true, then Jessie's story is a pretty remarkable one, in that she finally made her way back home. Maybe in the next movie we'll see Andy's mom find Jessie and have a flashback. It would be cool if this theory was solidified. If Woody hadn't been taken by Al, then this never would have happened. Jessie would have been alone with Stinky Pete and Bullseye forever. Chef Skinner may have told Charles Muntz about animal thoughts. Ready for another crazy theory? It's possible that bad guys collude with each other in the Pixar films. Chef Skinner from Ratatouille, after dealing with a rat who can cook, may have ran into Charles Muntz from Up and shared his knowledge about animals. Perhaps Charles flew his airship, the Spirit of Adventure, to France and that's where the two met. Remember that Muntz invented devices that could translate dogs' thoughts into speech? How could we forget about Doug, one of Charles's happy-go-lucky dogs who's always seeking out squirrels? This theory about Chef Skinner and Muntz also makes more sense if we look into a scene from Ratatouille. There's a point when Remy's scurrying through a house and gets chased by a dog whose shadow very much resembles Doug's. Now, this could all be a coincidence, but it is fun to delve deeper into it. Maybe Chef Skinner's plan all along was to retrieve Remy and contacted Muntz to see if he could invent a device and tell what the rat was thinking all along. Given that Skinner knew about Muntz's inventions to be able to hear dogs' thoughts, what's your take on the matter?
Edna Mode. And guess.
Edna Mode from The Incredibles saved the world.
I never look back, darling. It distracts from the now.
Well, for this theory, we're asking you to look back. You may remember these words were spoken by Edna Mode from The Incredibles. She's the feisty little woman who designs all the superhero costumes. She's very talented and demanding of others. One important thing to remember about Edna is that for safety reasons, she's very insistent about not including capes in her new designs. She ends up recalling the cape accidents of Dynaguy, Thunderhead, Stratogale, Metaman, and Splashdown. Do you remember who also had a cape? It was none other than Syndrome, the villain that the Incredibles are forced to stop. It's likely that Edna studied him and his powers and decided to give him a cape because she didn't like him. Remember that the cape ended up being his downfall? It's possible that Edna planned it all from the beginning. It will be interesting if Edna makes another appearance in Incredibles 2. The Incredibles may need to give Edna a thank you for giving Syndrome a cape and helping to save the world. Are you as excited for the sequel as we are? Boo is the witch in Brave. Now you're probably thinking, how could this be? Yeah, it might be a little far-fetched, but bear with us. People's minds go to crazy places when thinking about movie theories. We all know that Boo from Monsters, Inc. loved Sully and he loved her. This theory proposes that when she grew up and went searching for her kitty, she used the same doors that the monsters used in Monsters, Inc. to travel through time all the way back to when Brave takes place and discovers the little blue will-o'-the-wisps. If you were paying attention to when Merida discovers the witch and is glancing around at all her wood carvings, we end up seeing one of Sully. This could be an indication that the witch is in fact Boo. Apparently Boo found a way into Toy Story because we also see a Pizza Planet carving. She must have really liked their pizza to create a carving of it. Now these two carvings could just be Pixar hiding some Easter eggs to find in the movie. Although it could go much deeper than that and the witch is actually Boo. What do you think? Is this one too out there or could you see this being a real thing?
Hey, may the best monster win.
I plan to.
Randall Boggs is Andy's monster. Before he became evil and one of the best scarers at Monsters, Inc., Randall Boggs was just a geek at Monsters University who had aspirations of becoming a scarer. The only thing he really had going for him was his ability to change his skin to blend in with surroundings. He was even roommates with Mike Wazowski and actually seemed like a decent guy. Oh, how things changed. For this theory, try to wrap your head around the fact that Toy Story and Monsters, Inc. exist in the same universe. You also need to be paying close attention when you're watching Monsters, Inc. There's a crucial scene in the movie when Randall is practicing his scare tactics by blending into various backgrounds that his coworker changes for him. One of those backgrounds happens to be the infamous wallpaper that Andy has in his room. You know, the blue sky with the clouds that's unmistakable if you've seen Toy Story? Could Randall really be Andy's monster? After all, it seems like anything in the Pixar world is probable. It's a pretty cool theory to think about. How do you feel about the theory?
Dory, where's Nemo?
Nemo is dead. It's hard to forget the tragic beginning of Finding Nemo. We think it's safe to say that the movie has to be one of Pixar's most depressing. Right off the bat, we have some feelings of sadness after Marlin and his wife attempt to fight off a barracuda and save their offspring. Unfortunately, the barracuda wins and Nemo and Marlin are the only two left. Or is it just Marlin that survives? We'll fill you in. This theory suggests that Marlin is actually the only one that survives the encounter with the barracuda. Nemo is the son that could have been. After all, Nemo in Latin means no one. If this theory rings true, then Finding Nemo would be about a psychologically damaged clownfish who's trying to cope with his pain. Marlin does this by creating a story where he can save his son. Pretty sad to think of, isn't it? On his trip, Marlin encounters a lot of creatures along the way that help him shed his emotional baggage. He even meets Dory, who helps him immensely on his journey. Plus, with her short-term memory loss, she can't remember Nemo anyway, which kind of fits.
My boss will be happy to take this whole place off your hands and for double his last offer. What do you say to that?
By and large could be the evil corporation in Up. If you look closely in a few Pixar movies, you can see that By and Large pretty much owns the Earth. It's a massive corporation that sells pretty much anything that humans could want or need. We especially see this in the beginning of WALL-E with B&L signs everywhere. In Toy Story 3, we see that the batteries in Buzz Lightyear are made by B&L. The company's logo also appears on the construction equipment in Up, which leads us to believe that B&L is responsible for wanting to purchase Carl and Ellie's home. What is it exactly that they're going to build in this place? B&L seems to be the cause of a lot of problems in the Pixar universe. They helped destroy the Earth in WALL-E, and then they want to buy an old man's home that has a lot of sentimental value. They're definitely evil. At least Carl got fed up and left and didn't have to deal with them anymore. Have you ever thought of this theory before? Had you noticed B&L in other Pixar movies besides WALL-E until now? This could further solidify the theory that all Pixar movies are set in the same universe. It definitely seems like more than a coincidence. WALL-E destroyed Earth. Sorry if this one depresses you and may seem a little far-fetched, but we thought we'd mention it anyways. So in WALL-E, the Earth becomes inhabitable. There's trash everywhere, even in space, and there's no vegetation in sight. Basically, it looks like the apocalypse. If you think about it, what if it wasn't just humans that destroyed the world? Most likely humans, based on their consumerism and the By and Large corporation, have a hand in the demise of the Earth. But what if WALL-E was actually the one to blame? Let us explain. We all know that WALL-E is a hoarder and likes to collect as many things that appeal to him. In his mission to hoard gadgets and other various objects, it's possible that WALL-E destroyed all the other cleaning units because they kept taking his stuff. With all of the other cleaning robots gone, the Earth would have gone to ruin with no hope for humans to return. This theory makes a little sense when we see the top secret video from the president. The cleanup on Earth went south and Operation Recolonize was scrapped. Was it because of WALL-E or something else entirely? We'll leave that up to you.
Farming! You kids are gonna grow all kinds of plants. Vegetable plants, pizza plants!
Tree sapling in WALL-E becomes the tree in A Bug's Life. Did WALL-E have your heart the first time you saw the film? How could you not love the hoarding robot? WALL-E definitely stood out from the other Pixar movies in that the first part of the film we didn't hear any dialogue. We were able to see how WALL-E spends his day-to-day rummaging through endless trash and finds treasures he can take back to his makeshift home. The love story is also a highlight of the movie. So you remember that little plant WALL-E keeps until the humans make their return to Earth? This theory proposes that the tree that WALL-E saved is actually the tree in A Bug's Life. Even though the plant is small, it's slightly shaped like the tree in A Bug's Life. We don't see any humans in the film because Earth still has to repopulate. Did you ever think of this theory before? Pretty interesting indeed. If you haven't seen A Bug's Life from 1998 and don't know what we're talking about, give it a watch. It's one of the older films from the company, but it has some great voice actors, a good storyline, and of course, great animation. Cars. Humans are extinct. Most would agree that they enjoy the film Cars. What's not to like about a world full of sentient and talking vehicles? Have you ever wondered where all the humans are? How did the Cars world come to be? There's plenty of evidence that humans lived on Earth before. The cars have handles, there are monuments in the background that have to be crafted by man, and how about all the shops in Radiator Springs? It's highly unlikely that the cars themselves built those. One theory is that in the future, cars become smarter and smarter to the point where they wonder why humans need to be around anymore. They think they're being slowed down and they want to get rid of them. However, the car takes on the personality of the last person that drove it. It does explain why there aren't any humans, but not much else. Cars 3 production designer Jay Shuster did a drawing of a meteor hitting the Earth a long time ago. All the humans are gone, and all of a sudden the cars start rising up and moving around. That could be an interesting reason how they came to be, but probably not plausible. That's all we have for you today. Those are some crazy theories, right? Did any of them stand out to you? Are there any you wished we would have included? Be sure to like and comment below and check out our playlist. And before we forget, the answer to the movie emoji is... well, did you guess right? As always, from all of us here at Screen Rant, thanks for watching.